Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Middle of the Woods edition of the Missing Wolves post-game podcast live stream. I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz, coming from somewhere in Sturgeon Lake at a family gathering. And today we got Derek Long from the SideLine Vibes podcast. Also, Crunch.
Oh, yeah.
Crunch on Twitter. Member of that Wolves Twitterverse that's always so fun to get into. But Derek, how's it going, man? Been a little bit since I've talked to you.
Yeah, it's been great. I had a great holiday, minus a couple of tough Wolves losses in there, but this was a good palate cleanser, I'd say. Get us back in the win column. Much needed win.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, we get done with the Atlanta game. I had Ryan Eichten on, who was in Atlanta for that one, and we're kind of talking about, like, what the heck is going on with this team. I spend a couple days going through all of the Western and Eastern Conference teams, like, win records against sub 500 teams. Like, does every team do this? I prepare a piece that I'm writing next week of, like, hey, it's not just the Wolves. This is an NBA problem. And then they're up by 20 against Miami in Miami off of a night in Miami. And kind of all of it's moots of like, oh, yeah, this team is still pretty darn good when they're actually locked in. Is that kind of your vibes on the situation as well?
Yeah, I mean, like, just watching this game and watching this team over the last couple of years, I just had something come to my mind. We're just kind of a weird team.
Yeah.
If you go from top to bottom, all of our players are just very unique in their own ways. We have Ant, even like our top guy, Ant. Like he's not your normal 2025 superstar.
Yeah.
And we have Jaden, who's just this weirdly quiet but very intense guy. We have Randall, whose game is just very quirky. We have Rudy, who's Rudy, and like I just think that's just part of our identity. And when it's good, it's really fun, and when it can be bad, it's yikes. But I don't know. I just think that's who we are.
I mean, it is just a weird group. Like, even if you're looking at it, like, the fact they're not running out any semblance of a point guard in their starting roster is weird. Their bench has Bones and Mike Conley as the like 7-8 guys, which is weird. Like, Nas is a weird player. I think weird is the best way to put it. I do think, like, through all of the digging into it, and actually, like, I weirdly was reading like Kevin Durant replies a couple days ago because he was actually having he was actually having some like really like insightful commentary on like the issue with the NBA right now. And he kind of touched on, hey, the regular season just doesn't matter. Like, if you're on a Supermax contract, you're not playing for a new contract. If you're an all NBA guy, you don't need to make that again. Like, you already got it locked. If you're an all-star, like, it is what, you know what I mean? Like, there's not really anything in the regular season other than like pride and wins for these like top guys, like your Ants, your Julius, your Rudies to play for. And like, that is part of the problem of like the rings culture, where we say, Charles Barkley can only be so high on the ladder because he never won a ring. And like, I just thought that was honestly he's probably right on that. But what do you think though?
You know what's funny about that? I can't remember the exact quote from Finch even talking about that the other week or so, or maybe I'm just imagining this, but he kind of referenced something like similar to Durant, and I agree. And I've been kind of like focused on this year is like the whole regular season is basically, if you like, a giant preseason. It sounds ridiculous, but it's kind of like, all right, what kind of lineups are working for us? We're collecting the data there. All right, what do teams like to do against us? We're collecting that data. And then when it gets time, if you're good enough, like we are clearly good enough team to make the playoffs, you take that matchup that you have and you go, all right, how do we stop them on offense, or how do we stop them on defense? And then how are we going to score against them? And you just really lock in and focus, and you use some things that you learned from the regular season to get to that point. But I think a regular season is just about staying healthy and kind of working through a bunch of stuff. It makes it sound really boring, but I think that's the best part of the regular season is you have these fun moments that happen, and you just got to kind of sit back and enjoy it, whether it's an ugly loss or a good win like tonight. I would consider kind of a very boring answer and kind of something boring that I feel like Durant kind of said. Like people are like, well, what's the point then of watching these games? It's like, well,
Exactly.
you watch it because you see Anthony Edwards do some cool stuff. You see you see some just fun gameplay, you know, and it's just that's just kind of separates like some. I feel like Wolves fans are very passionate, very diehard. So every game, every minute, they're locked in. And now that we're winning a bunch, taking that same approach, the losses seem to hurt us a little bit more right now. I think we just gotta get used to it. We just gotta toughen up a little bit.
I mean, it again, to your point, like I do think for a lot of these guys in the NBA, and I'm not gonna like name names or anything like that. That's just not my style. But like I think a lot of them it is just like this is what I do for my job. Just like if
Yep.
you're an accountant, you go into work, some days you're motivated to be there, other days maybe you're taking a 40-minute bathroom break. Like they're just I think that's what the regular season has turned into is just these guys, it's their day job. And then when the playoffs hit, the lights are shining, the national TV games, the Christmas games, OKC's in town. That's when these guys are like, all right, I'm going to show that we are this good of a team. But like a New Year's Day 2 p.m. game against Atlanta, I just don't think a lot of guys. Maybe it's rose colored glasses of like my youth, but like you think of like Kobe and Iverson and Duncan and Jordan and even like the Hakeem Shaqs, like never seemed like they were taking days off, but also like I was a teenager, so how much did I actually pay attention? And also like the Wolves were bad for like 20 out of their 30 years. So like I don't think a lot of Wolves fans have like seen the flip side of being a really good team where they just do this. I mean, again, like San Antonio beats Oklahoma City 3 times in 8 days. They lose 2 in a row, one of which to Utah. Denver beats Minnesota on Christmas. They lose to 2 sub 500 teams in the next week. Detroit has lost 3 in a row to sub 500 teams, and they're the 1 seed in the East. Like Oklahoma City, I think is different. Like they are clearly going after like a wins record or trying to make a point. But I think a lot of teams are just in the same spot as the Wolves, where it's just kind of meh,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you look at some of those top teams, especially in the West, like they're going through the same stuff that we're kind of going through. Maybe it's not as what's the word, bad vibey looking than what we're seeing. We're just a very emotional team, and so I think you see a lot of that stuff, and it's easy to pick apart in the media. But to your point about the like older generation, where it's like, Jordan, did they take nights off? I don't think they like. I don't think the sub 500 teams were as good as the teams that we have in the NBA today. And so that
I would agree with that.
That plays a huge part in like you could probably show up and still like Jordan could probably show up and play. I'm sorry, I'm picking on a team, the Hornets. Yeah, actually, the Hornets are. I don't know. Anyways, Hornets. Let's say the Hornets aren't good during that time. I can't think of a random team right now, but like he could probably show up. I think he actually did show up one time. He's like, I'm going to get 50 or something tonight, and like just like it was easy. I don't think you could do that in today's NBA. Some guys can, but yeah. And so you see that you teams kind of like you drop these games against below 500 teams, and it's there's some real players on those sub 500 teams that are trying to get their next contract with a good team, I guess. But I don't know. It's an interesting point.
I mean, that's honestly, I think that's what it is. Like, I think when you're playing against a Brooklyn team, everyone on that team, from Cam Thomas to even the rookies, are looking at this of like, well, I'm probably not going to make it here, but if I play well enough, I might be a role guy on Houston next year and have a chance to win it. And like, that's kind of the tanking reality too, where like, that's why all of these guys get benched in February. And then you start seeing the like 145 to 86 type games. And honestly, Godfrey brings up a good point here too, of just like the season is probably 10 games too long. Like you throw in the length of the season, the travel of the season, the lack of like emphasis by like let's be honest, like as long as football's still going, NBA is kind of a B topic. And then by the time the NBA becomes the A topic, half the league is tanking and the other half of the league kind of have their spots locked up. So it's
Mhm.
just kind of a tough look in February, March. But if they shorten the season a little bit, I do think that would help quite a bit. If they fix tanking, I think that would help. Honestly, if people in the media just talked about like all NBA players like they were God's gift like they used to, that would probably help. But I couldn't tell you who was on the all NBA third team last year, and I cover the league. Like, I don't think most people that cover the league could tell you who was on the all NBA third team 2 or 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
it just
I think,
doesn't matter as much.
yeah. First of all, shout out to Godfrey. Like, I feel like he's always on here commenting. What a guy.
Godfrey's one of the best. He is the
He's so locked in.
president of the anti Rudy Gobert trade. He is my Keontae George watcher. Godfrey deserves all the credit. Love
He's
that
always
dude
so
in here.
locked in. Kind of like, again, to your point, I think it's just like, oh god, I just lost my thought because I was just thinking of Godfrey.
I get lost in Godfrey as well. It's okay.
The season being too long. Okay, I agree 100%. They're not going to change it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yep.
They've talked about maybe can we do less minutes in the games, which I think that would help. That would be a good
Mm-hmm.
like compromise for that. But I think with the tanking part, there's no fixing tanking unless you have a relegation. And that's just like
Yeah.
American sports. And we can go into American UK Premier League soccer. I just don't think you would never have that unless we have like a lower league. And maybe there's something. The NBA would be something. Some league that would think about doing something like that. But the tanking is a problem. But I feel like it's been a little bit better because there's such an influx of younger players coming in the league, and kind of like what we've just talked about, it's like guys are fighting for their contract and then a better team. And so like it's really hard to tank nowadays, but you gotta
Again,
be really bad.
that's why you have. I think it was Utah who came to town last year, and they had like 4 players that were on an NBA roster at the beginning of the season playing in the game because everyone else was just shut down. Like it just like the tanking stuff. I agree. I don't know how they fix it. That's above my pay grade. I
Yeah.
think the specific problem the Wolves have that I think fans have every right to be irritated about it. Like if you're paying $200 to go to a game and it's a game that like they decide they don't want to play because the team isn't good enough across from them, that sucks. You're just out two
Yeah.
hundred bucks. You're out parking. You're out travel time. If you're paying $60 a month for a cable package, still, if you're buying Hulu or Fubo or whatever like streaming service to watch the Wolves exclusively, and like twice a month they just don't show up, like that sucks. That's like the team is taking something from you. Like I get that frustration with the fans.
100%.
I also just don't think at this point it's one of those things where, like, I'll be honest, Finch yells at him, like Dant yells at him. All the players on the team try to take like responsibility and accountability. They say the right things. They practice hard. They work on stuff, and then it's just the same problem. You have, Jalen Johnson, who's playing for an All NBA team spot, is probably playing significantly harder than anyone on the Wolves that night. Which, again, I wish I knew what the fix was, but it certainly is frustrating for fans.
Yeah. I think the unfortunate thing is I don't think there is a fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only fix would be all right, let's just trade our entire team. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's a whole different thing. But when you have a combination of personalities that if you go from top to bottom, everyone's pretty chill, laid back.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that we were talking about this and like a coach high school basketball, and like we're kind of dealing with the same problem right now. We have a pretty like young team, and they're very quiet, and so like basketball is really tough to play really quiet and have kind of like a chiller energy about you. You could be super skilled, super talented, but you kind of need that in basketball because it's just energy is so important in that. But from a coaching perspective, I don't really know what Finch could do differently besides like it. He's not going to do this, but like take a guy out if they're not playing hard. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good. I don't. He's like, you're a professional. You need to show up. You need to do your job, and
Yeah.
he'll light him up like this is what you need to do. But I don't think it'll ever get to that point. But you kind of see it sometimes in games where like guys sit for an extended period of time. It could be for that reason. But when the whole team's doing it, it might just be a night where like we just don't have it. But this silver lining here, Wolves fans, we're still very young. We're still a very young team, and I don't want to say they're like immature, but I feel like this is kind of like a immaturity thing where it's like you don't have like the I hate to say like losses under your belt where it really affects you. So I don't know. It's something that can get better over time, but I think we just have to tough it out. But it sucks. I get it. It's horrible to have to watch. I mean, I watch every single game, and I go to the handful of games. And it is tough. But again, silver lining. Last year, a lot more tough. Vibes are way better than it was last year.
It's, I mean, it is. They were a 500 team about. They started 8-9 last year. Like if they would have done that this year, I think that like the fan base would have exploded. But
Yeah.
like I agree with you. I do think it'll get better with age. What I would tell Wolves fans to do, and I know there's quite a few people in the Wolves like Twitter community that also follow the Pistons. That's like the team to watch. Cade
Mhm.
has the same frustrations that Ant does, where it just seems like some nights he's the best defender in the world, and other nights it's like, Cade, what are you doing? Like, they're a younger team. They have veterans, right? They have like the Tobias Harris of the world, but like they're the 1 seed in the East and dropping games to the below 500 teams. Like it's not like an exclusive problem to the Wolves.
Yeah.
I do think like Wolves specific, there are things that are like eyebrow raisings from some of their losses. Like we'll get into the Miami game a little bit here because I want to catch up on chat. Champ just mentions, the way Dante fills the stat sheet every night. We honestly do have to acknowledge like his importance because that dude's leading the team in plus
Absolutely.
minus. He is a gamer. Like when you talk about the guys that are like just come in and play hard every night, like Dante is that. Like he plays hard every night. I think to your point, Derek, is like Dante's not a very loud vocal guy. So like he's not going to be the one that like dives for a loose ball and starts screaming at people. But like that dude cares. Like his give a shit is off of the chart. So like Dante, I know the games where he's not hitting shots can look tough, but that guy cares, which
100%.
might be like a really big attribute this year.
Yeah.
I do. Cole mentioned a good question here too of just what do you think of Jaden? Jaden's inconsistency. Like what could Finch or Jaden or the team do to get him more consistent? He adds because good Lord. I'm going to just throw that one over to you, Derek, because I'll be honest, I don't have an answer. Like the entire team, from Bones to Jalen Clark, all the way to Ant, want Jalen to shoot more and be more aggressive, but it's almost like not wired in his DNA.
Yeah, he's again, I don't want to like classify people or not diagnose, but he's a perfectionist, I think. And so if he feels like a shot, like clearly with his shooting, like he was 1 for 2 tonight. Like that's not high volume. Doesn't need to be a high volume. He needs to be a higher volume player. But
yes.
like he's team oriented player. Like I don't think if he doesn't feel good about his game that day, like he's not gonna be super aggressive. And that's just who he is. And I don't know how that changes. I don't know if that's just like continue to talk to him, pump him up. He's a guy that just needs to be pumped up. I just think he's kind of a perfectionist, and I don't know. That's a personality trait. That's something you can't really change. It's just something that might change as you get older and you realize, like, all right, I'm more confident in my abilities. Because he's having a great year overall. It's very, very, very good year.
He's a borderline all-star this year.
100%.
Like he's not going to get it, but he's borderline. That's more than I thought Jaden was going to be this year.
Yeah. I want to go back quickly to Dante because he deserves his flowers in a game. This is a game that he needed to back up what he's saying, because he was talking to the media and saying that that we got to do what the coaches are asking you to do, and that's basically what the coaches were asking him to do, is just play hard consistently the entire game. He finishes with that plus 24. Yeah, 11 points, I guess only, but a huge 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. I'm looking at Wolf-wise stats. Shout out to him. Great work. He didn't shoot it great, but he does all the little things that are so important to winning basketball games, and that's why it's plus 24. I always love looking at the plus minus stats, but like there's a play where I think half the team didn't know who they're guarding in transition, and he was guarding. I can't remember who he was guarding in the corner, but he ended up flying in and getting a tip and a steal going the other way, and that was pretty much the ball game from that point. I can't remember exactly when that happened, but that stuff is so important. And he got a huge block when I can't remember who got beat in transition, and he gets blocks on the other side.
He gets rebounds, like for a 6'3" guy to get 8 rebounds pretty frequently is wild. Like his season average is 4.5 rebounds for a dude that's, I think he's listed at 6'3". He's probably closer to 6'1", but like
he plays bigger.
When people are just kind of throwing his name into trades, it's just kind of like, yeah, but then you lose that. Like he's the only guy on this team right now. Yeah. Other than, I'll give Rudy credit. Like Rudy, I think his give a shit meter is way up there too. And like Rudy scores the first 6 points tonight, finishes with 13 and 12. Like great game for Rudy. Back to the Jaden thing though. I do think some of it is like as he gets older, like I think he'll come into his own more. It is like, I asked TJ about it, oddly enough, of just like, is it kind of weird to play with a guy that is like so gifted offensively and he just doesn't do the things? And like TJ like laughed and then gave a very like media appropriate answer of like, we all know what he can do. Like, you know, it's just, we got to keep him confident, hype him up, like we support him. And it's just like the laugh was telling to me of like, oh yeah, it is weird for everyone that like Jaden could probably score 25 points a night. Like no problem. Like he's a good corner 3 shooter now. He's good off the dribble. He has that weird like paint fader pull up thing. I asked him about like him being compared to Kyle last week, and he was like, yeah, I took kind of the slow step stuff from Kyle. So like he has this bag now, but he doesn't do it. Like as a coach, like what do you do when you have a kid that's just like so good? And it's just like, hey, please do the things you're good at more.
It's so tough. It's truly, that's probably one of the toughest things about coaching is getting players to understand what they're good at, because they can't see really. They're just playing and they can't see what they're good at unless they're watching like a lot of film. And I'm sure he's watching a ton of film, but you still are so like, again, I think he's just kind of like a perfectionist, and that's just a personality trait. And so like he when he messes up, it feels like he messed up like 5 times. And so the good thing that we're seeing though is that he's taken a big step this year compared to where he was last year.
Yeah.
And we're just hoping that step just kind of like becomes more consistent. But like, what do you do? And just keep pumping him up.
Because last year, you're right. Like last year, if he missed his first 3-point attempt, he just wouldn't shoot it again. Like it would just be done. I think another issue I've like kind of personally nitpicked on him a lot about is like, if an offensive possession doesn't go well for him, he will do the stupidest transition foul you have ever seen. Like if he shoots a 3, misses it, gets the offensive rebound, bricks the layup, he'll just like foul somebody. And that's like, to me, that's what you're talking about is the like, I think he does take it really hard on himself.
Yes.
Honestly, Nas is very similar. Like Nas, I think is like the other way where if he's not hitting shots, he almost forces the issue to like get himself back on track. But like Jaden is just an enigma because I think fans and I think his teammates, I think Finch, like everyone kind of sees the potential of, you know, like you look at Ant in the cut off t-shirts tucked into his sweatpants and you see the gangly tattooed guy next to him, like it's Pippen, right? Like that.
Oh yeah.
that's rightfully a place that he could get to, but it just seems like he doesn't know how good he is, which is bizarre.
Yeah. I low
Cole
key
mentions maybe.
Oh, sorry.
Cole really quick mentions maybe he should give up marijuana because the attention to detail is shaky. I mean, some guys need it, other guys don't. I'll say he is. I do think he indulges. But yeah, it is. It's just such a weird enigma. What were you going to say, Derek?
I was going to say, because there's no stat for this. I don't know. It'd be awesome if someone can figure this stat out, but I want to know what our record is on like long road trips, because I feel like our guys just hate long road trips. I don't know. I have no, like, I just feel like every time we have one of those like West Coast, East Coast ones where we're like 5 different spots and then we come back home, I feel like we always have some like crisis that happens. So I don't know if it's like that's plays part of it. A lot of these guys have younger kids. They like to be with their families. They're very chill guys. Like, I don't know if it's something like, again, I don't know. I don't want to speak for them in their personal life, but I always like to tie things into like personal, like,
yeah,
how is their mindset going into games and how that can kind of affect it. Cause I think it's an underrated part of it, but yeah, I don't know marijuana stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to say about
that. Teresa says herb is good for you. So we'll just leave it at that. I mean, like, I do think long road trips suck for everybody because it's not like this luxurious thing. I feel like the NBA lifestyle in season gets overinflated sometimes of like, like, yes, did James Harden go to clubs every night? Like, it's well documented that he probably did. Did Lou Williams sneak out for lemon pepper wings and enjoy some clubbing himself? Like, absolutely, it's documented he did. But like most of these guys, it just like you get on a plane, you fly to a city, you get in at like midnight or 1 a.m, you go to sleep, you wake up at 9, you go to shoot around or practice, you do your independent work, then you do your weightlifting, then you take a nap, then you get dinner, and then like usually they have a PM workout as well. You go to bed, shoot around the next day, and then you play a game, get on a plane and do the same thing like over and over again. So I do think some guys like kind of like that structure. Like I remember Jaden talking about it last year of like, yeah, when you don't have to wake up with your kids, like you sleep a little better. And like, that's why I'm playing a little better on the road right now.
Oh yeah.
I think Mike has talked about that too, that like, it's nice to not have the responsibilities as much. But then also when you get home, you're almost like trying to compensate sometimes of like, I need to be at everything when I'm home. So it's like, it is, which again, like I understand the cynical view of this is like you're getting paid $40 million to play a game, but like, I don't think it's as much fun all the time as maybe people and fans think it is. Like it legitimately kind of sounds like it sucks on these road trips. And I think by the end of it, they do get just kind of like ready to like get out of there and get home. Godfrey mentions, let's go Wolves, enjoy the pod and the guests. I'm glad you do. I'm glad there's some people that are always in here. Teresa, Cole, I know you guys are always in here as well, so I appreciate you guys. Pack Mentality says very emotional team. I would agree with that. Cole adds that Jaden is absolutely his favorite after Ant. Just want him to dominate offensively. I think everybody does. I think from Tim Conley to Chris Finch to Jalen Clark to Rocco Zikarsky. I think everybody just wants Jaden to do more.
There's nothing better than a Jaden McDaniels like takeover game. Oh my gosh, there's nothing better, and I love it every single time. It's happening more often, so
yeah,
I think it'll happen more.
And now that I kind of know to watch him for like the antics, it makes it even better because he does just like he doesn't like talk, but he just has these antics like hand motions and stuff that are just top tier, like chef's kiss to Jaden McDaniels. Derek, I'm going to throw us over to an ad read here quick. When we come back, we'll kind of preview what's coming up for them and any last thoughts or questions that chat has. But first, we got to pay bills.
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com.
All right, Derek. So coming up, we have another one of those trap games. Minnesota playing in Washington at a 5 p.m. start Central. After that, they come home. They get Miami. They play Cleveland at home. Go to Cleveland. San Antonio comes here, and then they're back on the road for an extended period of time. But at least the next two games kind of seem like one of those weird type of trap games where they might fall again. How are your feelings of them kind of finishing up this road trip against Washington and then coming back?
Yeah, this game worries me. Just because you've seen what's happened so far this year. But I usually approach every game with like, all right, what are they gonna? What's the goal of how they're gonna attack the team offensively? What is like? I'm very much like thinking of like a coach. I can't watch basketball anymore with just not thinking like that. Which is nice though. Sometimes you just show up every game and it's like every game is like a 1-game season. It's great.
Yep.
But this game, Washington again, they've been pretty scrappy. I feel like they like beat someone recently. Maybe I'm confusing them with a different team, but they kind of have they could potentially have a good matchup against us. We've seen them in the past kind of have like a pretty solid matchup against us. So once we've played a team once though, it makes me feel a little bit better. So going into this game, I maybe feel a little bit better, but I think the guys are now realizing they got to step up and finish this road trip. Just kind of like what happened last time after we went on a little skid. I think Grady was talking about before the game. We went on a little skid, and then from Thanksgiving on, we were one of the best teams in the league record wise. So it's like, I think sometimes you just gotta. This team needs to hit rock bottom to motivate themselves to keep pushing. But yeah,
I mean, what is this? Time is a flat circle, right? Like it's the same team. I don't.
We had this conversation last time too, I think.
Like I don't know why I bought into that. They're all of a sudden going to run all the way to the corners storyline over the summer, but I bought into it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. They are, but just Washington. I mean, they beat. Since the end of December, they've beaten Toronto. They went out and beat Memphis, beat Milwaukee, beat Brooklyn. Like they've won 4 out of their last 6. They're not a good team, but like they're full of competent NBA players. Like CJ McCollum is still a good NBA player. So I kind of agree with you. I do think this is one of those games that like, if the Wolves want to get some of the heat off of them, like the media heat, you just got to go win this one. Like, however, you got to win it and then just come home and people will probably, they won 2 on a back-to-back on the road and we'll kind of all be happy again. But that being said, 5 p.m. start, they're probably getting on a plane in about 2 hours. It's going to be a tough one for them.
Ooh, yeah.
And then it does get tough. I mean, 2 games against Cleveland and San Antonio. I know Cleveland's been struggling a little bit, but what team are you kind of looking forward to seeing them play the most? I know San Antonio, I'll just spoil mine. Like we saw them play San Antonio without Wemby. Hopefully this time we get to see Wemby. So that would be mine. But who are you kind of looking to see over the next month or so?
I was going to say instantly San Antonio. I'm trying to look ahead here, but San Antonio definitely number 1. Rockets, that'd be a fun matchup to see as well. Coming up here January 16th. I I think between those two, I think those are the best in January that I really want to lock in on. But we have another Thunder one.
Another Thunder one, couple Golden States.
I think we match up really well against the Rockets, and I'm just interested to see how what we're going to kind of show against the Spurs with Wemby, how we're going to match up there. I have some ideas, but I don't really know. I go either way. With it's like Gobert going to guard Wemby, a little French on French, or we're going to see kind of like what the Wolves did tonight, where they put Rudy on Bam. I don't think the Heat were ready for Rudy on Bam, which is kind of an interesting thing, but it worked out really well for the Wolves tonight. So we could see something like that. I don't know. I'm just interested. That's what these regular season games are for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. Like, the Spurs beating Oklahoma City 3 times isn't a fluke, right? Like, there's something to that. Like, that's an Oklahoma City team that at the time of the first loss was going for the wins record still. Like, there's a lot of pride in that locker room. The fact that Spurs kind of punked them 3 times in a row is like, that's something. So that Spurs game, if everyone's healthy, to me will be another one of those games where it's like, okay, what is the actual ceiling of this team? Like, can they compete with a lineup that can throw out 3 starting caliber point guards, Wemby and like Harrison Barnes? Like, they just have so much flexibility that's so weird that I'm eager to watch that one. And then, as Cole mentions, Ant did say he owes Wemby a dunk. So
I would love if that happened. That's why you tune in to regular season basketball, people. That's why you tune in. That's what Kevin Durant's talking about right there.
I mean, those are the like highlights where it's like, also sidebar. I just like, yes, NBA viewership is down, but I think it's because people are smart enough to figure out that like the moments I would tune in for, I can see on TikTok in 45 seconds, or I can listen to 2 dudes on a podcast talk about it and then look up the clip. Like, there's easier ways to consume the product now that, like, I don't think the popularity is down at all. Like, that Spurs
I've loved what they
did. Going to be insane.
Yeah, sorry. I love like the NBA and NBC now. Oh my gosh, Prime is awesome. Like what they have going over there. I think this is actually the most accessible NBA's been. I mean, you have to buy all the streaming services, so I guess that's not the case. But like for a larger, you can watch a ton of national television basketball games this year. Then probably
a ton of them.
Last 10 years for sure. But yeah, those are the things that are kind of fun. But yeah, you're right with that. Like a lot of things that like the Wemby and Ant. Yeah, that'd be awesome if that happened.
Yeah, I'm petty, so I'm always kind of rooting for those.
I love
moments,
that kind of
just
stuff.
to have the picture in the practice facility of it, where it's like, okay, yeah, all right.
I will say one quick thing though with the Spurs, and I think a very underrated national media narrative is like this saying that the Spurs are the team that has made the Thunder's life the hardest this year. And if you look at the 2 Wolves games, I think if we're not up there with the Spurs with making their life hard, I don't know, we're just being forgotten about because we beat them once and then we made it pretty tough for them that first game, even though we lost and kind of fell apart at the end. Like I think we made
even with the weird roster, like I think Oklahoma City, I still feel like is probably clear ahead of, like, if you have to play them in 7 games, that's going to suck. Like, the Wolves don't match up as well against them. They don't have as good of ball handlers that they need to like slow down the turnovers. That matchup sucks.
Yep.
I know the Nuggets have beat the Wolves 3 times, but I still kind of like the matchup between them. Like, I do think fully locked in Wolves, fully locked in Nuggets. Jokic is going to score 50 every time. And I think more games than not, the Wolves will end up pulling out. I kind of feel the same way with Houston. Like, I think the Wolves just have enough firepower to match them offensively. And then I think when like push comes to shove, the Wolves can be a better defensive team than Houston. I feel the same with the Spurs. Like, the lineups are going to be weird and crazy, but like, I think the Wolves just have enough firepower to match it. And then like when they are clicking defensively, they can, I mean, they did it for stretches tonight where it's just like, oh, no one can score on them when they're locked in. So like, I still think the Wolves are like, I wouldn't. I kind of said it after the Friday pod or Wednesday, Thursday. What day are we on? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday pod, Thursday pod. After the Atlanta pod, that like I don't think I'd take the Wolves to like win a championship or make the Western Conference Finals, but like I think they win a playoff round. Like they're not a first round exit talented team, which it's almost just tough because like the expectations are now Western Conference Finals championship or bust. That like a first round exit or a second round exit would be pretty negative, I think. But I'll ask you, like, where do you feel like the ceiling of this team could be?
I mean, I've said this from the get-go this year after watching like that first quarter, and shout to myself here, giving myself a shameless plug here. I did a quarter one breakdown. I do like quarterly breakdowns. Second one's going to come out after 40 games, halfway point, where I kind of break down like statistically some things that I think are the most telling of like a really successful basketball team. And they're up there in the contending zone that I have. And so I consider them contenders, but I also consider like who I can think finishing in the top 2 in the East and top 2 in the West to be considered contenders. So I maybe have a wider scope for that. But again, a lot, like I think LeBron said it like best a couple years back, where he's like, a lot of the playoff comes down to luck. And so like you might have a contending team and you just have a bad matchup in the first or second round, like OKC did a couple years ago when they lost to the Mavericks, and just things didn't go their way. And then you might be like the Wolves last year, where a couple things go our way and it made it pretty easy for us in that second round, or easier in that second round. But you just want your team to be in the mix, and we're in the mix for sure. So
100%. I love that take. I think that's, whether it's LeBron or you, like that is the take to have. Of I think OKC,
the only time I'll ever be in the LeBron comparison.
Like that's what it is though, right? Like OKC, I think still clear ahead. If Shea gets a sprained ankle, it opens the door for everybody. And like, even if Shea goes 1 for 15 in one game, like that opens up a game for anybody. Like, there is just so much randomness to the NBA, which is why it's so fun, right? Like, you just don't really, like, even me who's around the team a lot, and like technically this is a job that I have, like I don't know, like no one can definitively really tell you where this team's going to be, but they have a shot, which is a lot better than, I mean, we're just about to finish up watching a Vikings season who they didn't have a shot to make the playoffs for 5 weeks. So at least we got something.
Yeah. No, yeah.
All right, man. I do want to give you space. Anything you want to plug, please plug your podcast. It's delightful. The floor is yours. I don't need to set the stage for you. You've done this before.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the SideLine Vibes crew. It's me, Mitch, and Reed. Over we cover all Minnesota sports. We try our best, but we started this with the idea of we wanted to change the narrative of Minnesota sports fandom. Could be super annoying for those people who maybe are half glass empty kind of people, but we are super glass half, if not fully full. And so if you want a breath of fresh air, maybe after a tough Timberwolves stretch or something, come check us out over at SideLine Vibes. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We basically post an episode every week, but otherwise I'm over on Twitter at Crunch with 2 H's. Again, don't know why I chose that, but I just wanted something that was not my personal account, so I could keep tweeting a bunch of random stuff about the Timberwolves and not annoy all the people that actually follow me, real people in my life. But yeah, love that. I love that the Wolves Twitter community. So and yeah, thank you again, Andrew, for having me on. This is awesome what you do, and even taking time out of your family Christmas in northern Minnesota to break down some meaningless regular season game? No.
You know, they won, so there's meaning. And technically, I have sponsors, so I
There
probably
you go.
should do what I'm paid to. No, when I set out with this podcast, that was kind of my thoughts too. Of like, I want there to be a post game show that is Wolves fan Twitter community centric, because like there are other good post game shows out there. I know like Howls and Growls, Wolves After Dark, Locked On, all do great jobs. Like I wanted to make this more of like a Twitch stream than two people just talking at you. And
I love it.
I also really wanted to get different members on. I mean, from people that are just in the Timberwolves community to people that have podcasts to people that are on TV that don't get to really talk about, you know, the sports they're passionate about. Like, always good to meet new people in the Minnesota area, right?
Oh yeah. Also, shout out to vote for Jaden McDaniels to try to get in the All-Star game. I think it'd be really cool for him to get into the All-Star game, especially the year that he's having. Maybe even Naz Reid as well. Go hammer the votes. They're so important. They count them all.
Also, like if Andrew Wiggins can get in off of like a K-pop venture, I feel like Wolves Twitter should be able to get Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah.
In. Like
100%.
We should be able to do that.
Nas.
Exactly. How's Nas not showing up on those polls? All right, Derek, I appreciate you, man. I'm going to get out of here. For everyone that tuned in a little bit later, this will be posted up on YouTube and X as soon as we are done recording here. So if you can't wait until tomorrow to listen to it, it will be there. If you do want to listen to it tomorrow, that would be Sunday the 4th or any day after, it gets posted as a podcast at 7 a.m. the following day after every episode. And we'll be back tomorrow after that mid-afternoon Wizards game. I believe with Brandon Beck is going to be on tomorrow from the Crunch Wears No Pants boys, who are having a historic run.
That'd be
so
great.
Tune into that. I mean, I'm hoping so. I don't want sad Brandon Beck. Sad Brandon Beck's not as, he's still enjoyable as sad Brandon Beck, but I just hate seeing the man sad. All right. Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you after that Wizards game.